Hey, you guys, Cindy here. I hope you're doing well today. Happy Tuesday. I'm super excited to be here with you guys today. If you don't know me, my company's Create Your Own Luck and Love. I support women in understanding themselves, men, and creating a love that resonates with them. So today we're going to talk about what turns a man off. And I wanted to speak into this because a lot of times, naturally, we do things that turn a man off that he won't even share with you, and it actually might seem like he likes it. So I'm going to explain that to you and talk about a couple of other things around that really do it disintegrates the polarity. It actually neutralizes the attraction between you two. And it'll do it for you too eventually. So that is something that I'm excited to talk to you guys about and excited to dive into and support you around. So please let me know if I'm going to dive into this first. But please let me know if you have questions, comments, if this is helpful, if there's any other topics too that you guys would like for me to dive into. I'm considering doing this throughout the summer. So let me know if that would be helpful for you as well. Okay, so jumping into our topic, the number one thing that turns men off. Now you may have heard this before. I'm going to adjust my screen here a little bit. Okay, so you might have actually heard this before, but I'm going to share it with you in some ways that may support you on how to shift this type of behavior or way of being. So some relationship ruining techniques or even dating. So if you are mothering him, and you might think, well, I'm just dating him, I'm getting to know him, we're in a relationship, I'm not mothering him. But let me give you some examples of what mothering could look like. You are, let's say he said he's going to drop by the grocery store, pick up the groceries for dinner tonight, and for you not to worry about a thing. So you are, you call him in the middle of the day or text him and remind him that, that he said he was going to pick up the groceries. So, or maybe you do that multiple times. I don't know. Or, what happens is, or you're adjusting, or you even like he's leaving the house or something and his shirt's a little wrinkled. And you go, are you going to really leave the house like that? Maybe you grab his shirt and you iron it for him. And while those things are really sweet and they're nurturing, they turn into mothering. And he may even smile a little bit that you're, ironing his shirt and making it all great. The thing is that he's not actually, what you're showing him is that you're being his mother. While he loves his mother, he's not sexually attracted to his mother. So little things like this all the time neutralizes your connection. It can even be, you guys have plans to go to the movie on Friday night and you're going, okay, you said you're going to pick me up at 6. You're going to pick me up at 6, right? And you're consistently checking in. You want to give him room to mess up or not to mess up. I mean, if you guys are married, you have a child together, and little Johnny has soccer practice, and he's like, yeah, I'll pick him up from soccer practice. You're not going to be his pop-up reminder. And I think so many times women will fall into that trap. Here's what happens. He starts relying upon you to be his brain. And he stops thinking for himself. Then he starts checking in with you. And then he gets basically dumbed down. And what happens, the woman naturally starts losing respect for him, like, oh, he can't do anything, he's an extra kid, you know. But what happens is you've actually created that by allowing that, by enabling that sort of behavior. So what do? You might be a little bit of a control freak. You might, you know, he might be saying, I'm going to plan the vacation, and he hasn't booked the tickets yet. It's 2 weeks out. Let him figure it out. So, and let him go out of the house with his shirt wrinkled. The thing is that here's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to make fun of him. Something's going to happen, and he's going to realize, oh, I should probably iron my shirt. You know, being complimentary. God, you know, that shirt looks great on you. So that's going to create the tension between you. Yes, nurturing is good. They do love that, but not the nurturing that comes across as a nagging to them. And really, it's emasculation, it's demeaning. It doesn't make him feel like he can really provide for you or provide value in the relationship. And he doesn't want to have sex with you. You know, and you start wondering why you don't want to either. You're getting turned off or you're getting annoyed. And, you know, if he forgets to pick up little Johnny from soccer practice and you guys sit down at the table, he's going to remember the next time, or Johnny's going to call on his cell phone and it all gets figured out. But not to reprimand him for that. He'll learn. And, you know, it's like that, giving space for teaching people how to treat us. And I think, you know, the other thing that I want to speak into really quick is, you know, women, we oftentimes have different expectations for a man than we might our girlfriends. So if he says, hey, I'm going to call you back tonight. And hey, Catherine, good to see you. So, you know, he doesn't call you back, calls you back the next day or something. So what can start to happen is those negative thoughts in your head go on, like, he didn't call me back. He said he was going to call me back tonight. You know, he had to get off the phone quick. And, you know, it goes down this negative rabbit hole. Now you look at what's going on in his life, like what's going on logically. If it's a pattern that he says, I'm going to call you back, and he doesn't call you for a couple of days, then that's where you want to go, all right, so where are we at in this relationship? Am I more invested than he is? Where, you know, it's, you know, these sort of things are really to be, you know, taken down a notch. Think about if your girlfriend said, hey, I'm going to call you back later tonight. You know, I wanted to share this thing that happened to me. She didn't call you back that night. Are you going to give her the riot act for not calling you back? No, you're not. And you're probably not going to think that she's not your friend anymore because of that. You know, oftentimes women will feed into their own insecurities around this stuff. And if a guy does little things out of line, or we think that aren't, you know, showing up as perfectly, do you show up perfectly? You know, where are you at in your relationships? Are you constantly late? Are you a woman of your word? Are you putting a lot, so we can put underlying pressure on him based on our insecurities. So if we're trying to make him, or make our dating the world, or the guy that we're with our world, those insecurities creep in. And I'm not talking about healthy ones, so I'll go back to those. You know, like healthy feelings that come up. But, you know, those insecurities of that, those rackets that go on in your mind, or he says, let's get together this week, and it's Friday, he hasn't called yet, but look at the circumstances. Has he had a really particularly stressful week? Did he start a new job? Is there, is there other building blocks that are happening? And it doesn't need to look a certain way. I think what happens is when we start to get love and relationship experts all weighing in on these things, and you might go, oh, he should be doing XYZ by now. He should be calling me every day or texting me every day and saying good morning. Or, of course, I mean, that's lovely. And when he does that, if you give him positive feedback, I love it when I hear a good morning text from you. It makes me happy. Or it's so nice to hear your voice. So, men in general love happy, confident, intelligent women. They're not intimidated by your intelligence. Healthy men, that is, if you are intelligent, you're successful, they're typically fascinated by that and what you do and how you do it and how you create things. The thing that does turn him off is by demeaning his intelligence or trying to be competitive with him around, who's better, or and actually what that can manifest itself looking like is not only are you in competition with them, but it manifests itself in looking like who's the better man and, proving yourself to him. It actually looks like you're proving yourself, but in turn you're being competitive. And guys are competitive with each other. They don't want it from a woman. They don't want it at all. And if you can, talk about the things that you're interested in, find commonalities, do those things. You can, even talk about something that you accomplished, but don't talk about it in a way that's going to demean him or be competitive with him. Maybe you guys are in the same industry and you're more successful than he is at the moment. And, you start comparing notes and you start telling him what to do. Men don't like that. They want to figure it out for themselves. And if they ask you for advice, this could be a trap too. Trap door, don't jump in. It's, it's all about the communication and positioning it to where like, oh yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So in my experience, I've done it this way. And I know how great you are with X. And I have a feeling that you're going to handle this in a really amazing way. Maybe even better than I would. You don't need to say that, but in a really amazing way that works for you and the current situation that's happening. So what that does is it opens up the space. It shows that you have belief in him, and it shows that, it gives him an opening to get closer to you. I think, so oftentimes we inadvertently block love. I see it with women that tell me they want relationships and they are, I'm going to share a quick story. They're actually in one way, shape, or form doing it the insane way because they're doing the same thing over and over again and hoping for different results, and operating on wanting a quick fix to have the kind of relationship that they want, when in reality, if you actually do things the exact opposite, or you hire somebody to support you around what it is your wants, needs, and desires are, what your values are. And maybe you think you know that, but if you work with somebody, it's a whole lot easier to articulate that and not be afraid to share who you are. This is super important. So I'm going to share a quick story. I don't know if anybody here used to watch Seinfeld, or you guys watch the reruns. So there's this episode where, you know, George Costanza is doing things in his life. Nothing's going right. His life is, you know, a total disaster, so to speak. And he decides that he's like, gosh, you know, nothing's working. So I'm going to do everything opposite of what I think I should do. You know, what my mind says I should go do it this way. I'm going to do the complete opposite and see what happens. Well, if you ever saw that episode, you know, he ends up attracting a really beautiful woman, and he walks up to her and he says, hi, I'm George, you're really beautiful. And I live with my parents and I don't have a job or whatever. And she goes, hi, how are you? You know, and you know, he ends up doing that with several different things, and his life turns around. Now imagine having support around your blind spots that way, and looking at your love life from, you know, that vantage point, you know, having someone in a non-judgmental manner support you and turning the ship a different way, so you really create the results. And inadvertently, you know, I had this client of mine who's now, you know, after a lot of pain in relationships, she's deeply in love with, you know, the man she calls love of her life. They've got an amazing future plan. And, you know, the thing is that her way of doing things was what I was sharing. She was nurturing, she was constantly taking care of, and inadvertently it turned him off, and it actually turned her off because he wasn't showing up as very capable. This was her ex-husband. And, you know, they ended up divorcing, but, you know, she learned now to let go and let him, you know, let her guys show up and, you know, fall down and scrape his knees, you know, be a supporter as well. So it's a fine line between becoming nurturing and a mother and becoming competitive with a man. Those are big ones. So dipping into your feminine energy and allowing yourself to receive from him, that's going to turn him on. A lot of times as women, we get into that stage, no, I got this. No, I got this. I'm willing and happy to say, yeah, I need help. And I'm not too proud to share that. So I hope this helps you today. And please, please, if you know of anybody that needs support in this area, in their love life, share this. And let me know if you've ever been in a situation. I'd love to hear your comments below. If you've ever been in a situation where, you know, you turn the corner from being helpful to a little too overbearing and mothering. I'd love to hear about it. And I'd love to hear anything else, you guys, that you would love for me to share more about. Sending you so much love and light. Have an amazing Tuesday, and I will see you tomorrow. Mwah.